Today we'll be speaking about Shalom Bayit versus truth. May we lie for Shalom Bayit. Say what? May we lie for Shalom Bayit. But how could that be, Abraham? There's a law in the Torah, lo tushakru. Vayikra 19 says, lo tushakru. We're not up to the sheets yet. Don't rush me. Pesach, can you pass him the sheet? Lo tushakru. It says, don't lie. Vayikra 19. It's a negative commandment not to lie. And in Exodus 23, it says, Midvar sheker tirchak. So lying is a negative and a positive. Lo tushakru. Don't lie, Vayikra 19. Shemos 23, the positive, midvar sheker tirchak, keep far away from what? From a lie. So if you lie, you break a positive and a negative, right? So what's the halacha when truth conflicts with Shalom Bayit? Shalom Bayit is a value. What's the value? V'hafta kamocha. Shalom Bayit is the greatest mitzvah in the Torah. Zeh klal godel b'Torah. V'hafta kamocha. When values conflict, which is greater? V'hafta kamocha or lo tushakru? What's the example? Shabbos is a value, right? Human life is a value. When Shabbos conflicts with human life, what takes precedence, Billah?
Human life.
Human life, except for the cardinal three, except for the big three. But outside the big three, when Shabbos conflicts with Bekuach Nefesh, human life takes precedent. So what about Shalom Bayit, when it conflicts with what? With lying. When is a lie kosher? There's a strange pasuk Pesach in Micha Perik Zayin. Micha Perik Zayin says, Titen emet leYaakov. Yaakov is the semel of emet. Gershon, let's get real. I mean, if you analyze the book, it's coming up the parshas, how could God tell Micha 7, Titen emet leYaakov, that Yaakov is what? The symbol of truth. Looks like he had shady dealings with whom? But before Lavan, shady dealings with whom? Esav. With his brother. Right? And he had shady dealings with Lavan. So Rav Tzaddik HaKohen asked the Kasha, how could Micha say Titan Emet LeYaakov? So, Rav Tzaddik HaKohen says something amazing. Reality is the ultimate truth, he says. To see evil in the world as it really is, Haba lahargacha hashkem lahargo. Yitzchak was blind to Esav. Yitzchak was blind to reality. Yaakov saw the con game of Esav and of Lavan. That's emet, says Tzaddik Cohen. To identify the enemy as an enemy. To call evil evil, not to cover it up, not to fudge it. Right? The worst evil today is what? It's not the evil. Different lifestyle. Different lifestyle. It's not evil. That's fake news. Rabbi Tzaddik HaKohen in 1902, Ray, before Trump. That's fake news. Yaakov Avinu was the symbol of emet because tell it like it is. To call evil out. Identify it. And protect yourself from it. Not all the lies and the hypocrisy and wishful thinking and the fake news. So Yaakov is the epitome of what? Emet. Because he called it the way it is. He was not PC. The Torah is not PC either. So what about when Shalom Bayit conflicts with what? Truth. In last week's parsha, did God lie to save Abraham and Sarah's Shalom Bayit? That's pretty incredible, Abraham. Right? Now, the Talmud tells us that Chasavas HaKadosh Baruch Hu emet. God's John Hancock, God's seal is what? Emet. And the Rambam says, therefore Avodah Zarah is Osir. The Rambam says, why is Avodah Zarah Osir? Because Avodah Zarah is the ultimate sheker. That's the antithesis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emet. Avodah Zarah is sheker. It's all lies. So that just begs the question. Rashi says that God changed the truth to protect the Shalom Bayis of what? Of Avram and Sarah, right? Rashi says, Shina Torah. She said, what did she say? Vadoini zokein. We can't have any kids. My old man is all washed up and dried out. How could he have a baby? But when God reported the incidents, Alfie, God changed the truth. God said that she said what? Vaniza kanti. She never said Vaniza kanti. If that's for me, I'm out to lunch. Where was I? Out to lunch. Why did God have to change the truth? Why not report the incidents the way it is? She said Vadoini zokein. And God changed the truth that she never said that. Vaniza kanti. Was Abraham and Sarah's Shalom Bayis so fragile, Ilana, that God had to lie to protect their Shalom Bayis? They were married 89 years. But Rashi says if God would not have lied, there would have been a lover's quarrel. Shalom, after 89 years, it happens. Who are you calling old and washed up? I'll show you. So therefore God had to lie to protect the Shalom Bayis of what? Of Avram and Sarah, no matter how long they were married. Hashem had to lie, Kaviyachol, to preserve Shalom Bayis. And why is the Torah telling me this, Yael? Why? Torah's GPS to teach us that sometimes we have to lie in order to protect and preserve what? Shalom Bayis. The Chafetz Chaim says something incredible. Sheker can be a tool in avodas Hashem. Did you know that? Did he say that? Sheker can be a tool in avodas Hashem. You hear this? There's a Gemara in Yevamos 65. Mutter l'shanot b'tnei hashalom. You're permitted to lie for Shalom Bayis. Yevamos 65. Says the Chafetz Chaim, I wouldn't dare say this 1 minute. B'chol avavcha b'shnei yitzrecha. Right? The Sifri says b'chol avavcha, you have to love and serve God b'shnei yitzrecha. Even with what? With your Yetzer Hara. Says the Chafetz Chaim, v'halachta b'drachav. Sometimes you have to use the Yetzer Hara chava, which is lying, in order to what? To serve Hashem. V'halachta b'drachav. Who showed us the example? Gershom. Who showed us the big boss? Right? He writes about himself that he changed the truth. So the Chafetz Chaim goes so far, love Hashem b'chol avavcha b'shnei yitzrecha. Sometimes even a straight lie is required, v'halachta b'drachav, to prevent machlokis, to prevent shame and pain. Then it becomes a mitzvah to lie. Like it becomes a mitzvah to be mechala Shabbos in order to what? Save a life. The values of human life and Shabbos conflict. Human life takes precedence, except the big three. And when Shalom Bayis, Haftarachal Kamocha, conflicts with lying, then Shalom Bayis sometimes will take what? Precedence. To save one from Busha, it's not just husband and wife. It's not just husband and wife. If you take a look at your sheet, it says side number 2. If you take a look at your sheet, side number 2, it's amazing there. Maisa ben Gamliel Sh'omar. You see that? On the left side, Chav, it's underlined. Maisa ben Gamliel Sh'omar, right? On the left side on top. And the incident involving Rabbi Gamliel in which he said, awaken 7 judges for me early in the morning and have them come up to the attic. What are they doing in the attic? They want to proclaim a leap year. Ray, this year is a leap year. So we have a calendar. In days of Gamliel, they would proclaim a leap year. See footnote number 3. So he said he wanted how many rabbis to come up there? 7. How many came up? 8. One guy is crashing the party, Gershom. One guy was uninvited. Omar, he said, what did he say? Misha Allah shaloi b'shus yered. whoever came up without an invitation, get down from me. You're not invited. This is a closed party, right? So what happened? Omat Shmuel HaKoton v'Amar. So Shmuel HaKoton got up and he said, what? I'm the one that ascended without permission. Ray, was he telling the truth? No. He was lying to protect the covet of one of his uninvited colleagues. I'm the one. Ani shaliti shaloi b'shus. You see that on the left side? But I didn't come up to ascend to what? To do the leap year. El lilmoid halacha. Lamaisa. I went up. I want to what? To learn how to practice the law, how to extend the leap year. So I came to observe. Okay? Amaloi, Rabbi Gamliel said to him, he was the president of the Sanhedrin, hey, come on, I know that what? I invited you. Why are you covering up for someone? So what did Rabbi Gamliel say to him? What did he say to him? Shave beni, shave. What does that mean? Sit down, my son, sit down. It will be fitting for each and every leap year to be extended by you. We only do a leap year in the year only with judges specifically designated for that purpose. Since you were not explicitly designated, you may not participate in the proceedings, right? Another story. So the Gemara explains, what was his motivation? The next paragraph, Chavi, have it? The Gemara explains the true motivation of Shmuel HaKoton. V'lo Shmuel HaKoton haya was not really a Shmuel HaKoton who crashed the party. El Inish Achrina was another rabbi. So why did he lie? What?
It wouldn't be embarrassed.
Umachmas ksufa, ho David. And on top of the page, the right side, was only because of the embarrassment that the uninvited fellow would have suffered. So Shmuel HaKoton made his false admission. Look at note 7. You see note 7? If the uninvited fellow had stepped forward and left, he would have been humiliated. To save him from humiliation, Shmuel HaKoton rose and took the blame himself to save his friend from being shamed. Another story on the right side. The Gemara cites another case. You have that? In which someone took the blame for what? For something that what? To save his friend from embarrassment, right? Kod Yosef Rebbe Kodorish. It happened, Rebbe Yehuda Anasi was giving a shiur to his Talmidim at the OU, Aryeh. You have it? You have a seat? And what happened? Aryeh, what happened over there? V'reach ra shum. And one of the Talmidim forgot to use mouthwash that day. See that? He didn't use Colgate. What's it called? Listerine. Yiddish Aryeh. And there was a terrible smell of garlic in the room. So the Rabbi Yehuda Anasi was disturbed. Anyone that ate garlic and didn't use Listerine, let him get up and leave. Rabbi Chia, he got up and he what? And he left. Amdu kulam v'yatzu. All the other students got up and what? And left. The rabbi was left with what? With an empty study hall. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, Yolana, this is the guy who wrote the Mishnah. B'shachar, Motza Shimon Rabbi. The next morning, Rabbi Shimon, the son of Rabbi, met Rabbi Chia, and Amalei said to him what? Atahu shetziar talaba. You are the guy that upset my father with your bad breath. Why didn't you use Listerine this morning? Or Colgate? Why did you irritate my father with your bad breath?
But why would he even ask that?
The rabbi was what? You upset my father. He couldn't go on with the shiur. He got nauseous. Why didn't you open up a window? I guess it didn't help, right, Avram? I guess it didn't. Can you open a window? Baruch Hashem, we all use Listerine here. Why'd you upset my father with your bad breath? Why don't you brush your teeth? Eating garlic, you know. Amaloi, Rabbi Chia said to him, heaven forbid, I would never eat garlic before a shiur. There should be nothing like that from among the Jewish people. I only left in order to save the real guy from what? Embarrassment. So again, he lied. If you look at note number 9, you see that, Yael, note number 9? Rabbi Chia realized that if he left, the other students would follow right? The true culprit's identity would thus remain secret and would save the real guy from what? From embarrassment. Okay? Another story. On the right side, the Gemara cites several precedents of Rabbi Chia's behavior, that you're allowed to lie to preserve shalom. Not just shalom bayis, but not to shame your friend, right? Rabbi Chia, where did Rabbi Chia learn to do this? To lie, to take the blame in order to shame, to spare someone what? Embarrassment. Where did he learn from? From whom? From Rabbi Meir. What happened to Rabbi Meir? Strange story. Yiddish Aryeh, you have it? There was once a story with a lady, Shabal the Beis Medrash of Rabbi Meir, the great Rabbi Meir of El Nes. A lady came into the yeshiva of Rabbi Meir. Amirloi, she said to him, Rebbe, echot mikem kitshani bebia. One of your students in this yeshiva married me through what? How do you say bia in English? The act of intimacy.
Carnal knowledge.
He was too cheap. He couldn't buy me a ring. So you can also marry a woman. Don't try this at home. But in the days of the Talmud, if you couldn't afford a wedding ring, you could marry a woman with the act of what? Of the sexual intercourse. So one of your students did that to me. You hear that? And he did. That's Kiddushin Erison, but he never did chuppah. So either let him what? Do chuppah or give me a get. He left me in limbo. He did Kiddushin Erison to the act of Bia, but he didn't do Nesu and chuppah and Yichud. So either he should complete the wedding ceremony, Avram, or want to give me a get. So please have your student what? Either finish the marriage ceremony or give me a get. Omad Rav Meir v'kosav lo get. You don't have the end of the story. You do have my handwriting. Have it Pesach. Omad Rav Meir v'kosav lo get. Rav Meir got up and he what? And I'm the one, and he wrote her a get. What good would that do? He's not the one that did it. He was trying to cover up for one of his talmidim, right? So he gave her a get. That wouldn't help. V'nasa amdu kulam v'nasa lo get. So all of them gave her what? So among all of them, one get was authentic, because there was one guy that did the act of Bia, right? But to cover up his shame, the rabbi took the rap for himself. Can you imagine that? The rabbi took the rap for one of his talmidim. The great Rabbi Meir, what?
He embarrassed her.
Why would he embarrass her?
Came over and kept giving her a gift.
Amdu kulam and nasal laget. Otherwise, she would be what?
No, all the men walked out and he left them there.
Oh, it says maybe each one gave a get. Each one gave a kazuma. So she collected.
She collected. That's right. She became a millionaire. Right? She became a millionaire. Would you say? Now, where do we see in the Torah? Before the Maisa in the Gemara, we see in the Torah, did Moshe Rabbeinu lie to console Aaron over the loss of his two sons? In Pasha Shmini, says, B'kroi v'yakodesh. Moshe tells Aaron, those that are near to me, I shall be sanctified. How did Moshe console his brother for the loss of Aaron's two sons? Omer Moshe. I'm quoting Rashi. You don't have it on your sheet. Rashi in Pasha Shmini. Omer Moshe. Aaron Achi. My brother Aaron. Achshav royani shehem gedolim menimcha. Now I see that your sons, Nadav and Avihu, are greater than what? Than Moshe and Aaron. Is that true? They couldn't hold a candle to Moshe and Aaron. And yet Rashi quotes Chazal in Pasha Shmini, Vayikra Perik 10, B'kroi v'yakodesh, Moshe consoled his brother by lying, by saying that what? That your sons are so great, they're greater than what?
Us.
Than us, and therefore God called them back. They were too good for this world. Is that true, Reb Pesach? So Moshe Rabbeinu, he lied in order to ease the pain of what? Of his brother. It's a pasuk in the Torah. That's pretty incredible. Aaron Achi, your children that died are greater than what? Moshe and Aaron? Come on. But again, you see, to what? To ease someone's pain when he's suffering. What? You can lie. I feel good. We have security here in the back room. You see that? I feel good. You never know, right?
They give you tickets.
The security. Chaim Haiman. Charlie, you mentioned the Gemara in Ksubis. There's Machloikis of Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Let's say your friend marries a woman and she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. You remember the Wicked Witch of the West? Huh? So Avram Berkowitz, Beis Shammai say, what? Kala kamoshehi. If she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West, and your friend says, no, what do you think of my kala? According to Beis Shammai, you would say, did you see the movie Wizard of Oz? She looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. That's Beis Shammai says that, Masha. Because what? Midvar sheker tirchak. Lo tishakru. Tell it like it is. Comes along Beis Hillel, and he says you're supposed to lie, right? For Pesach, Kalano v'chasada. Even though she's ugly as sin, you're supposed to lie. And the halacha codifies whom? Beis Hillel.
Every bride is beautiful.
Kalano v'chasada. She is beautiful. Pretty amazing, huh? Or the same thing, the halacha goes further, right? Someone buys an object or an appliance, and you think it's ugly or it's, it's
Too expensive.
expensive. He says, what do you think of my new car? And it looks like what? I don't know. It's a what's it called? A hot rod? A jalopy. So what are you supposed to say, Reb Pesach? It's beauty. After it was beautiful. And you paid 9 times more than you should have. What are you supposed to say? Oh, you got a bargain. Beis Shammai says, tell him you got ripped off. I stopped the cup. But halacha says, no, Aryeh. You got a bargain. It's a beautiful jalopy.
That's if he bought it.
What?
He hasn't bought it yet. Then you're supposed to compensate for it.
What?
That's if he bought it already.
But if he bought it already, that's right. He married her already. Then you're supposed to what? You're supposed to lie and to cover up and not to cause a person anguish. Because v'hafta oreacha kamocha is more important than lo tishakru or midvar sheker tirchak. That's pretty incredible. In next week's Parsha, Parshas Vayetze, Chava, Parshas Vayetze, that's next week, right? When little Yosef is born, what does Rachel say? Osef Hashem charpasi. God has removed my shame. When Yosef HaTzadik is born, Rachel imenu, Yiddish Yosef. Yosef, when you're born, Rachel says, Osef Hashem charpasi, God has removed my shame. What does that mean? It's a strange Rashi there in Vayetze, Yiddish Yeshin. Ein bain, as long as a couple have no child, something goes wrong in the house, they blame each other, says Rashi. Yesh lo ben, once there's a child in the house, the husband says, Mi shover kli, who broke my computer? Bincha, your son broke the computer. Who ate up all the chocolate ice cream? Your son did it. Who ate up all the cholent? Your son did it. What's Rashi talking about? So therefore, Os Hashem Chapasi, says Rashi, now Rachel says, before I had a child, something went wrong in the house. I had nobody to blame. Now I have a child. Yaakov comes home from work, and he says, What happened to my chocolate pralines? Even though Rachel ate it up, Yosel ate it. Yosel ate up all the chocolate pralines. Rashi, Ilana, Rashi. That's why Rachel Amenu wanted a child? Rashi says it, Reb Gershom. That's why Rachel wanted a child. Now she has who to blame. Right? She ate up all the chocolate bonbons. And Yaakov says, what happened to my chocolate bonbons? Yosel ate it.
The sheep ate.
That's why she wanted a child. Shoshana, that's what Rashi says. That's what Rashi says. Now she has who to blame. What's the message? That's the only reason she wanted a child? Of course not. But Rachel is teaching that even that is also a benefit. Even that'll prevent machlokes in the house. When there's a child in the house and something goes wrong and the wife can blame the child or the husband can blame the child, even for that alone it's worse to have a child. Even for that alone. That's what Rashi is teaching.
Can't get a dog instead?
That's pretty amazing.
How about one of the sheep?
Huh?
One of Yaakov's sheep.
Amazing Rashi there. What a message. Of course that's not the only reason she wanted a child, but she'll take that benefit as well. That's a benefit. There'll be rest machlokes in the house. I'll take that benefit as well. And that's also important. And that's also important, says Rashi. Amazing Rashi over here. How far this goes to preserve Shalom Bayit, you can lie, and it gets even more complicated. Yabiya Omer, Yoredeya Simin Lamed Bet. Here is a Pesach. This is a Vadi Yosef Zech Tzal Gevrocha. Yabiya Omer, Yoredeya Simin Lamed Bet. The case of a woman, a Baal Tshuva. Now she's super Haredi, and she's married to a Haredi guy. And they had a baby boy. So the Haredi husband wants to make what? Pidyon Ben. The problem is, before she became Haredi, Sherry, she was Run Around Sue. Remember Run Around Sue? Keep away from Run Around Sue. She had a child out of wedlock, who she had to give away when she was a teenager. But now she's really, really from, really Haredi. And the husband's very Haredi. The husband didn't know that she was Run Around Sue. And the husband wants to make a Pidyon Ben. Ray, what's the problem? It's a lie. It's not a Pidyon Ben. It's not a firstborn. You hear the dilemma? She went to Avad Yosef and she says, listen, if I tell him the truth, it might be a what? Divorce time. But if I lie, I let him go with through with the charade, Pesach, he makes two brachal of Atolis. He makes a bracha Shechiyanu and Pidyon Ben. He makes two brachal of Atolis. Rabbi, I can't live with that on my conscience. Maybe I should tell him the truth. Taking God's name in vain is one of the 10 commandments. Don't take God's name in vain. The Rambam says, a brachal of Atala, you're taking God's name in vain. So Rabbi, I don't want that on my conscience. Should I tell him the truth? And it'll lead to a quarrel, maybe a divorce, or lie, let him go through with the charade, and make brachal of Atolis. The husband doesn't know. He thinks it's the firstborn baby boy. Needs a Pidyon Ben. What does Rav Yosef Paskin? What would you say, Rav Pesach?
Is this in the book?
I would say.
This is in the uncensored version. You know, he wrote a censored version. This is Yabiya Omer Yeridea 32, the uncensored version.
So she's about Tshuva?
She's about, yeah.
She's about Tshuva. She started her life all over
Yeah.
again. And that she should.
But it's not her firstborn son. It's a lie.
No, but she didn't have the child. It was the one that
Doesn't no.
come on.
It's not a Pidyon Ben. It's not a Pidyon Ben. So Rabbi Yosef say Gershom. He says, Kovet habriyos adif. Kovet habriyos adif. How do you say that in English? To protect her dignity, her honor.
Dignity is preferred.
Right.
Yes.
Allows her not to tell the truth. He says, go through with the charade, with the Pidyon Ben, have your husband make two brachal of Atolis. taking God's name in vain. And do it. You need break the plates. How do you say in English, break the plates? Broad shoulders. But that's what he paskin, and he brings a raya from Sota. To preserve Shalom Bayis, God says, erase my name. Erasing God's name is a worse sin than what? A bracha levatala. If you can erase Hashem's name in order to preserve Shalom Bayis, said Rabbi Yosef, you can certainly say a bracha levatala to preserve Shalom Bayis. It's not as bad as erasing Hashem's name in the Sota ceremony to preserve Shalom Bayis. That's pretty incredible. The Mishnah says, Aaron HaKohen Oev Shalom V'Rodev Shalom. Aaron would run after peace, love peace, and pursue peace. And the Talmud says that Aaron Hoya Mishaker. Aaron would lie when husband and wife are quarreling or two friends are quarreling. Aaron Mishaker. Kidei Lasot Shalom Bein Adam Chaveiro Bein Ish Ishto. And Aaron HaKohen is praised for it. To make friends, make up with friends or husband and wife, Aaron would lie to what? To get Shalom Bayis back. Pretty incredible, huh? Pretty incredible. Another story. Okay, this is the Yeridea. Yabi Omer. Another case. This is the case of the Moshe finds in Igros Moshe. Yiddish? Igros Moshe? A girl is getting married. The mother of the bride is beginning to freak out. Yiddish, Ilana? So they think she's freaking out. The photographer, the dress maybe is not the right color. Maybe the tablecloth, the photographer is late. She's freaking out before the chuppah. She must see Rav Moshe is going to be the Masada Kedushin. So she must see him. Aryeh, she's hysterical. She has to see the great rabbi. Okay? Rav Moshe agrees to see her. She begins to sob, Rebbe, this is not my daughter. My husband went on a business trip, and there was a traveling salesman. A traveling salesman. And I couldn't resist him. He looked like Robert Redford. Remember him in his prime?
He was younger.
In his prime, I said. He's still good looking now. 1 minute, please. Where was I? Rebbe, this child is a mamzeres. Now I can't have that on my conscience. I committed adultery, and I can't allow the wedding because a mamzer is not allowed to marry a Jewish person. Right? Mamzeret, it's not my child. It's a traveling salesman. Yiddish for Pesach. I can't allow one sin, adultery. Now another sin to allow a mamzer to marry a Jewish person is a terrible sin. What did the great Moshe Feinstein tell her?
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Hush your mouth, Alfie. How do you say? Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth, lady. Ein odom meisem atzmai rasha. Repesa. If she's saying that what? That she committed adultery. Ein odom meisem atzmai rasha. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Right? And therefore he said what? Shh! On with the wedding! Die, 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 die. Arya, you have to have wide shoulders. Moshe Feinstein, Zeichet Tzadik V'Racha. First of all, he said, Ein odem meisem atzmai rasha. Then he said, Korev posel yedut. You are a relative of this, you're so-called, you're a korev. We can't believe you. We can't accept your testimony. You cannot incriminate yourself. Adam korev posel yedus, and therefore what? And therefore what? On with the wedding. On with the wedding.
Did you get backlash for that?
What?
Was there backlash?
I hope not. But anyway. Ein odam eisem atzmai rasha. Ein odam eisem atzmai rasha. 1 minute. There's a case in the days of Chassam Sofer. A shaykhit was dying on his deathbed in Pressburg in early 1800s. So he called the Chassam Sofer he has to confess. A shaykhid, a frum guy, a shaykhid, says, Rebbe, I have to confess, a lot of times the behemoth was nevela, and I don't want to take a big loss. I don't want to take a big loss, so I sold the nevela for kosher. There's a big difference in price between nevela and kosher. So Rebbe, now he's on his way out. So what's the problem? And not only did he feed them all treifa, but all the dishes and all the pots and pans are what? Treif. Rebbe. What did the Chassam Sofer say? Hush your mouth. Ein adam mesim atzmai rasha.
Don't confess against yourself.
Ein adam, it's between you and God. I don't believe you. Ein adam mesim atzmai rasha. Break the plates. How do you say that in English? So you have to throw out the dishes. You confess between you and Hashem. But halacha, we don't believe you. Person is not permitted to what?
Testify against himself.
Testifying against himself. I think you had a question, Shoshana. What? What?
Does that mean in this case with Rabbi Moshe Feinstein and the woman that's been adultery, does that mean that he took it on himself? He took the ramifications on himself. Is that what it means?
It means that he worked with the halacha. The halacha says a person is not believed to incriminate himself. So even though if it's true, it doesn't matter if it's true.
So he
Because only if outsiders, if two witnesses would have come and testified, then she's takara mamzer, you can't get married. But there are no witnesses. A person is not believed to incriminate himself. So therefore, it doesn't matter whether she did adultery or not. The halacha says she's not believed. And therefore, on with the wedding. That's pretty incredible. Now, the Meiri asked the Bam Kasha Pesach from Baumland. Shalom Bayit is so important, you can what? You can lie, brachal of Atala. Meiri asked the question, let's say the wife of the husband says, for my Shalom Bayit, you have to eat pig. We have to go to a Chinese restaurant tonight.
Have shrimp.
Have shrimp, otherwise no Shalom Bayit. Are you allowed to eat shrimp? Chas v'shalom. Meiri said it versteht nicht. How do you say it in English? He doesn't understand this. I don't understand it, right? The wife says to the husband, for my Shalom Bayit, you have to wear a shatnez suit. If you don't wear a suit made out of shatnez, ois Shalom Bayit. You allowed to wear a shatnez suit, Jerry? Chalila. So, ma nishtana, Pesach, ma nishtana, what? The Shalom Bayit here with lying. Why is it different than other Averas? No other Avera are you allowed to break for Shalom Bayit. Just lying. Why? So the Meiri explains as follows. And he says as follows. The name of Hashem is Shalom. One of God's names is Shalom. You know, if you go into the mikveh with your friend Shalom, right? And you can't say, hey, Shalom, pass me a towel. You say, hey, you, pass me a towel. You can't mention Hashem's name in the mikveh. It's Hashem's name. So if your friend's name is Shalom, you say, hey, you, please hand me a towel, right? You can't say Shalom. Since Hashem's name is Shalom, so the Meiri says, for Shalom Bayit, erasing of Hashem's name is actually a tikkun for Shem Hashem, since God's name is Shalom. So to preserve God's name, you can lie, only lie, because that's preserving the Shalom Bayit contained in Hashem's name. That makes lying unique. The Shem Hashem, Shalom, Hashem's name is erased for the Saita, because when erasing Hashem's name, if that's what it takes to preserve Shalom Bayit between the husband and the wife, that's fulfilling the Shalom Bayit, which is one of the names of Hashem, is Shalom. That's pretty incredible. The famous case, again, in the Abi Omer. Boy, these great rabbis, they had courage. This Ashkenazi yeshiva boy, Haredi, fell in love with an Ethiopian girl. He's a Cohen. He's a Cohen. So the Ethiopians went through Gerut. And a Cohen is not allowed to marry a ger. So they were really in love with each other, but his Ashkenazi yeshiva, his Rosh Yeshiva told him, Pesach, you can't marry, you're a Cohen. Ethiopian Jew, she went through Gerut. A Cohen is not allowed to marry what? A ger. He was heartbroken. What did he do, Rabbi Yaakov? He went to the Sar HaTorah. Who's the Sar HaTorah? Rabbi Yosef Zecher Tzadik Avracha. And he said, you know what he said? You sitting down? On with the wedding. But Rebbe, I'm a Cohen. And she's a Gioris. He pulled out a Radvaz. You know what the Radvaz was, Pesach? The Radvaz was the Rebbe of the Ari HaKadosh.
It was a Humrah.
The Radvaz, the Rebbe of the Ari, he lived to be 103. The Radvaz. And he pulled out a true Radvaz that the Ethiopian Jews are Jews. They are Shevet Dan. The Ger was only L'chumra. It's only rabbinic. She really doesn't need a Ger. Because she's a born Danite. Radvaz, she's born Shevet Dan. The Ger is Rak L'chumra. That's only rabbinic. But Minat Torah, she doesn't need a Ger. On with the wedding. These great rabbis, Beis Hillel, where you can find the kula, you have to find the kula. Not look for chumras. Not look for chumras.
The humor was good just to be on the safe side, but doesn't change the reality.
It's a rabbinic enactment, but Minat Torah, Ethiopian Jews don't need no ger. Said Rabbi Yosef, he showed the halacha, the Radvaz, she's from Shevet Dan, and therefore there's no problem for a Kohen to what?
Marry her.
To marry her. Amazing.
So when the baby's born out from an egg, we say the mother is Jewish, but we still give them a guarantee, they give them a conversion to be on the safe side.
Now you open up a whole can of, what's it called, Pandora's box? What?
Aren't the Ethiopians...
Let's say, one second,
children-
let's say the egg donor is a guy, and the birth mother is a Jew, right? Is the child, what? Jewish.
It's Jewish.
Or the other way around? What determines the egg donor or the birth mother?
Birth mother.
How do we know?
I remember.
How do we know that according to halacha, doesn't matter who the egg donor is? What determines a yid or a goy is what? The birth mother. Rav Aaron Soloveitchik is incredible. He brings a raya from Agadata Gemara. Brachas, page 60. Amazing. He brings a raya from Agadata Rav Aaron Soloveitchik. And I think the Muchan Pua accepted that psak. It's not only him. There are others.
Pua says that they still do a humrah.
No, Rav Aaron Soloveitchik Paskin, that's the birth mother, not the egg donor, because look at Gemara Brachas, page 60. Why did Leah call her child Dinah? So what does Rashi calls Gemara Brachas, page 60? That Leah knew that the child that she's carrying is what? She was carrying what? Yosef. She was carrying Yosef. Maybe she took an amniocentesis, but she had Ruach HaKodesh, that the child she was carrying was Yosef. So she done Latzma. She said, listen, I can't allow this, because if I have, there are only supposed to be 12 sons. If I have another son, my sister Rachel won't even have as many sons as what? As the Shvachos. I can't allow that. So she davened to Hashem, and Hashem did IVF. Pesach, Ein Chadash Tachas Hashemesh. Look at Brachas, page 60. HaKadosh Baruch Hu switched, and Rachel was pregnant with what? With Dinah. And God made an IVF. Look at the Gemara Brachas, it's incredible. Because Leah said, I can't have this child. If I have Yosef, my sister Rachel won't even have 2 sons. She won't even have enough sons like what? Like the maidservant. So she davened to Hashem, God, do an IVF. So God switched the fetuses. And he put what? The fetus of Yosef, who was conceived in whose womb? In Leah. And he put it in Rachel's womb. Right? So whose egg was Yosef? Pesach, whose egg was Yosef? Leah. Yet Yosef is never called the child of Leah. Yosef is always called what? Child of. So you see, he said, that the birth mother determines who the mother is. Otherwise, Chava, Yosef should be considered what? The son of Leah. Because he was conceived in Leah's womb. She was the egg donor. But the birth mother was what? Was Rachel. So you see that the birth mother determines who the child's mother really is and not the egg donor. He's always called Rachel ben Yosef, even though he was conceived by Leah. Yes, Aryeh? Aryeh, go ahead.
Before the class asked, I wanted to ask a question. The Rabbi spoken about the issue of lying for the sake of saving someone from shame.
Right.
In the case, for example, of Pikuach Nefesh, it would seem you're obligated. Let's say it's 1942, you're in the Ukraine, you're...
Of course, Pikuach Nefesh, you could be B'chal Shabbos.
You're hiding Jews in the cellar, the SS comes to it.
Well, of course.
Do you have any Jews in the cellar? Oh, you had 2 doors down.
No, of course, if you're B'chal Shabbos, which is worse than lying, B'chal Shabbos is Chayiv Skila. If you could desecrate the Shabbos to save a life, you can certainly lie to save a life. Avram lied, he said, Sarah is my sister. Why did he lie? He didn't want to be dead. Right? What's the greatest mitzvah in the Torah, Ray? Staying alive, staying alive. That's the greatest mitzvah in the Torah. Right? Let's not forget that.
Well, my point is that they still do it as a humrah, but if they're still...
But according to the halacha, it's the birth mother determines the sex. So if the egg donor is a goy and the birth mother is what? A Jew, the child is a full-fledged Jew. If it's the other way around, if the birth mother is a goy, then the child would need what? Gerut. Then the child would need gerut. There's a famous story again with Moshe Feinstein. That's how. After the war, Moshe Feinstein was mater many agunot. Many agunot he was mater. The husband never came back, Yiddish Aryeh, and the wife was stuck. They never had a body, So he was mater hundreds and hundreds of agunot he was mater. You hear? One day this woman comes into the yeshiva, crying hysterically, Rebbe, what did you do to me? You were mater, you said that my husband is dead. I married somebody else. My husband came back. The first husband came back. Rebbe, you ruined my life. Now my child is a mamzer. Rebbe, what did you do? You've said that I'm not an aguna, that my husband is dead. And now my first husband came back. So Moshe Feinstein, that's how. I could ask your father, right? He was calm. He sat next to Moshe in the yeshiva there. And Moshe always with a smile, pleasant, cheerful. He stands up. He turns white. He says, Ligner, 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 in front of a whole yeshiva. You liar, you liar. The Talmidim was shocked. The great humble rabbi who never said a cross word to anybody kept calling you Ligner, liar, liar. And he started to shake. They thought he was going to have a heart attack. Until she finally confesses that what? She's lying. A short while before, she admitted she had a sichsuk with the landlord. How do you say a sichsuk? A fight with the landlord about back rent. So she and the landlord went to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, and Rabbi Moshe ruled against her in favor of what? Of the landlord. And it cost her a nice amount of money. So she said, I wanted to get back at you, Rabbi. I wanted to get back at you, Rabbi. So I made up this Bubba Meister that my husband came back. So Talmidim was shocked. Rebbe, are you a Navi? How do you know she's lying? Rabbi, are you a Navi? He says, I'm not a Navi. But if my Bezdin ruled that what? That she's a widow, she's a widow. Dama lamala mimcha. What Bezdin Shamata rules down here, that's what Bezdin Shamala rules up there. If my Bezdin determined that you're a widow, then you could not have been, what? Still be married to the first guy. Halacha changes facts on the ground. Halacha is so powerful that it changes facts on the ground. So the great Rabbi Moshe said, I'm not a Navi, but if my Bezdin paskin that you're a widow, then I knew that what? You had to be lying. So he yelled at her until she finally what? Admitted it. So we say that these great rabbis, they have Ruach HaKodesh, Rabbi Yaakov, they have Ruach HaKodesh. Eze Sipurim, right? From Moshe and from Avadia Yosef. Amazing, amazing stories. So Hashem should help us to preserve Shalom Bayis. We have to have Shalom Bayis and to be wise about it and to protect a person from being shamed or to preserve Shalom Bayis. The Chofetz Chaim actually says it is actually a mitzvah to lie. What's the mitzvah? V'l'haftar yacha kamocha. That is a higher value than what? The midbar sheker tirchak. Pretty incredible. The Chofetz Chaim HaKadosh actually says that. V'halachte b'drachav, to follow in Hashem's ways. Pretty incredible.